Good morning, everybody. How are you today? It is Friday, the 1st of April. Oh my goodness, April Fool's Day.
Oh
And
yeah.
I don't know what your weather's like out east, Denise, but yesterday we were 17 degrees in Ontario, and this morning we woke up to another blanket of snow. So we're in the
Oh wow.
traditional roller coaster ride of Mother Earth transitioning from winter, spring weather, and it's kind of appropriate considering our whole world is in quite the transition today.
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
so Denise is here with me today. Andrea was tied up, so she will join us next week. And so, Denise, you had something that you wanted to share with respect to all of the distractions that are happening. All of a sudden, the bug's gone, and now we're being asked to pay attention to what's happening across the pond. And everybody is jumping on the warmonger bandwagon, which really is a reflection of the inner war, the inner conflict that the majority of the collective of consciousness is experiencing right now, right? There's,
Yeah.
there's a conflict that they're having within. We're in a transitory time where we're moving from one way of being, one way of thinking to a new. And as this whole bug idea has dropped, we're still walking around and it looks like it hasn't. So why don't you share what we were talking about a little bit just before we started
Yeah.
recording, and
Well, I
dig
think
into
it's important for us to just be aware of where we're putting our attention. And they're trying to distract us, as you said, to the war now. And where we put our attention is where we put our energy. So what I'm noticing is, and I'm astonished at, is now that the mandates have been lifted. Yeah, when I go into the store, I still see everybody with their masks on. So it's really surprising to me because I thought there might just be a few, but I didn't think like 90% of the people would still be in fear, basically. So I have to think of how do I feel about this, and how much energy am I putting into that scene? Where am I putting my attention and my energy? And how does it feel for me to be the only awakened person in Sobeys? That's what it feels like. So I realize that I do feel some frustration that people are not, they're not seeing the big picture and they're still living in fear. So that's not good use for my energy, is to feel that frustration. So what helps me deal with that is to realize that I'm not responsible for other people's for them being awake. I'm not responsible for that. And everybody is on their own soul journey. And I just have to keep putting my energy and my intention on how I want the future to be, and help to, raise the vibration of the world in general. So I was wondering how you deal with that when you see everybody walking around with their masks and still being in fear, you know.
Well, and this is where, of course, we're being called to be very compassionate because, in all honesty, for 2 years, the public has been, bombarded with be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. This thing is going to kill you. It's going to kill your loved ones. And so when anyone is in a, sort of like a psychosis or fear psychosis for longer than a couple of months, when mandates, and when those are relieved and, things open up a little bit, there's still the residual echo of that fear within their being, right? So how do you feel about the only one that is shining your beautiful face? Is that's our job. Our job is to be the light, shine the light, in spite of what everyone is being told to believe, because we are being absolutely bombarded. It's not the bug now. Now it's a pending idea of, the idea of that whole mushroom cloud thing. And we know in our being that is not allowed. That will not be allowed. And as you know, Denise, from the work that we've been learning from our teachers, the guides through Paul Selig, humanity has chosen at a higher level. So this is beyond the veil, because there's only a small aspect of us, as you know, that's in physical form when we're incarnated. The other larger aspect of our soul, our spirit, is so huge, you can't stick it in a body like we would, it's just too big. It's too huge. And so that at a higher level, we've chosen that will not be allowed. That will not happen. And in fact, in a recent teaching, they shared that we have claimed the idea of destruction in order for people to wake up and go, we cannot go on this way, because we were all born into a fear matrix. And the only way out of that fear matrix is to stop agreeing to it. Because this is all perceived, it's all imaginary. There's imaginary fear. It's an imaginary bug. It's imaginary this. It's all.
But when you look around, people are still buying into it big time. But I guess it only takes a few of us.
Absolutely, because you
lift the rest up.
Exactly. Our beliefs shape our experience. Our beliefs shape our perceptions, shape our experience. So if they agree to it, then focus, attention goes, your focus, attention, energy goes where your focus, your attention is. What you think about, you bring about. What you fear, you call to you. Oh my God, I'm afraid I'm going to get sick. I'm going to get sick. Oh my God, I'm afraid. Then all of a sudden you're sick. Yeah. Whereas if you're walking around going, I have an awesome immune system. I take care of myself. I have a beautiful, healthy mindset. I operate in coherence, in a state of gratitude. I don't stay stuck in the mud when something happens that sets me off kilter. So when you agree to fear, you continue to call it to you. That's basically, if you think of a timeline or your life stream, the path you walk, if you continue to do that, that's exactly what you will encounter along that path. But if you say, I'm not buying that. I was created by something much, much bigger than me, much bigger than I could ever conceive of. And I'm trusting that over what some human scientist might say. I'm trusting that because when I look in the mirror, I'm trillions and trillions of cells of an absolute miracle. The human body is an absolute miracle. But this constant bombarding of fear, as we know, Denise, when you're in fear, you can't critically think for yourself. So the folks that are still embracing that or are continuing to agree to that are unfortunately still kind of cocooned by the idea of fear. And they haven't yet broken free yet. So all of those that do trust their immune system and do believe in the body, having a natural, incredible pharmacopoeia that is far more exquisite and intelligent than anything a human being can create at the moment. That's just when they begin to agree to that idea, then that shield will be removed. So we continue to shine our light and smile our beautiful faces and breathe the sacred prana, because you don't live without the breath. This is the thing. The fact that you're being told to suffocate is, I would suggest it's wrong-minded. Yeah. And it's agreeing to an idea that is in fact not true.
Yeah, absolutely.
But it can absolutely can be, it's like, no, you're free. You don't have to wear that anymore.
Yeah.
Because I'm still here and I didn't take any medicine that I didn't want. I'm a pharmacopoeia-free girl.
I think we just have to release that. If we're feeling that urgency that people need to be like us and that frustration that they're not, that we just need to find ways to release that.
Absolutely. Love them as they are. They have the right to be just as they are. And, it's smiles are contagious. Smiles and confidence and embracing life as a miracle instead of a burden. That's contagious. So so like you said, honor, everybody's on their own journey. And their path is none of our business. It's none ya business, what someone else is doing. And if you witness someone else struggling or having an emotional challenge, or they're a bit of a train wreck, then we just understand a sister or brother is in challenge. And that's their opportunity to learn and grow and embrace it as they can hold it. Just as we do the best we can when we're challenged Right?
And it's a good time to refocus and recenter ourselves with the breath and the breathing that we're going to go through with people again today.
100%, because what we're learning is the breath is the most powerful thing. What I'm learning in the Kundalini Yoga course that I'm taking is when things get really, really uncomfortable and the monkey mind says, oh, I don't want to do this anymore. Why are we doing this 108 times? That's when you go to the breath and you breathe stronger and louder so that you don't give up. And that's the beautiful thing about any kind of yoga, is because it teaches you about commitment. And if you're going to quit on the mat when it gets a bit uncomfortable, then we can quit in life when it gets a bit uncomfortable, but we're not quitters. You don't master anything if you give up. Exactly. And so the breath, did you want to take us through one of the techniques that we've learned, which we've been sharing, called quick coherence, and then adding our own spin to it, which is the big belly breath part? Do you want to take us through that?
If you're going to do the belly breath, I think you better do it this time.
Well,
you're the belly breath expert. You go ahead.
No. I mean, it's really the same thing. So I'll start it off, and then you take it up from quick coherence. Okay, you take it from here, but I'll just start off. Last time that we were together, I was talking about the importance of the belly. So we've all been taught since we were young, especially us ladies. Hold your stomach in, pull it in tight, keep it so you look skinny. Well, that actually hinders the breath in a significant way. And so the proper way that we want to learn to breathe is if you can get a book and put it on your belly and actually allow your breath to go in and out, and allow the book to move out and in as we breathe. So with the quick coherence technique we were sharing, I'm just going to add one little element to it. And then Denise is going to walk us through the technique. And so when Denise says, focus your attention on the area of the heart, that is to trigger your internal emotional aspect to think about your happy place. Gratitude, compassion, that's the focus on the heart. And it also pulls your attention away from whatever is stressing you out there. And then you allow the belly to relax and breathe freely with the belly. Kind of like when a baby is breathing, you can see they're breathing so beautifully, deeply, naturally with the belly. And the reason why it's so good is because when you belly breathe, it actually activates the parasympathetic, the aspect of the autonomic nervous system that is the break. It's the rest and rejuvenation. And on the exhale, when we're slower with the exhale, that's also what activates that. So if we want to get into a place of brain-heart coherence, it's the slower, deeper breathing and the breath. When you have a calm breath or a conscious breath, slowly and deeply, because we have to breathe anyway, right? Might as well do it consciously rather than right, like we're panting like a dog, like we're freaking out. So why don't we do that? Because that also, as I say, it activates the parasympathetic, which slows everything down. And when the body perceives that things are calm, because the breath is calm, it can function better in a state of harmony, because we were not constructed to be in a state of anger or stress all the time. It's very handy to have a cortisol shot when you're running away from a tiger, or you got to run a race, but not if you're having a conversation with your boss or your spouse or a family member that is upsetting you.
Yeah. So on that note, this is a good technique or tool to use when you're feeling stressed after something like you just said. You've just had an uncomfortable conversation with someone, or you've just come out of the grocery store and you're frustrated because everyone has masks on. You're getting into your car. It's so easy to do anywhere. And it only takes a couple of minutes, and it really does make you feel totally different. So either if you know you're going into a stressful situation or you've just come out of one, this is a really great tool, easy to do anywhere.
Yeah, exactly.
So it starts by focusing on the area of your heart. Some people like to put their hands right on their heart area. You can close your eyes or leave them open. And you're just going to start breathing deeply, more deeply than you normally would, in and out, with your focus on your heart area. And imagine your breath flowing in and out of your heart area. Breathing in, 4 or 5 second breath. and breathing out, exhaling maybe a bit longer. Deep breathing in and out, focusing on the area of your heart. And while you're doing this, you want to bring up feelings of gratitude for something in your life, care, compassion, love, some sort of a positive emotion. And we're just going to do this for 30 seconds or so. So breathing in and out, focusing on the heart area, and feeling a positive emotion.
And that was 30 seconds.
Wow, that was fast.
30 seconds can be enough to reset yourself. It really can, because it's stopping, freezing that moment. And going, wait, I'm going to bring it home for a moment.
And just being present with your breath.
Absolutely. Come home to the heart, into your happy place, wherever your imagination can take you, as that beautiful cottage, your kitty, your loved one, whatever, to get you into that state of emotion, because that's actually what offsets that cortisol shot. It's the tonic. We want to soothe and neutralize those cortisol shots as we move through our days with all the stress and fears that are being pushed at us. We can say, no, I'm not agreeing to that. I'm going to create my timeline, my energy on where I want to go, to your point, as we started this conversation, Denise. So thank you, everybody, so much for spending a few moments with us this Friday. When you're freaking out and stressing, just do that. Just breathe. Put on your favorite music, dance your dance like no one's watching, and stay in your hearts. Happy April 1st, everybody. This is set to be quite an interesting month, and we'll be back to see you next week, and Andrea will be joining us again. Take care and have a great week, everyone. God bless.
Bye.